Ne-am întors la GPeC Summit. Sunt alături de Melina Palmer, behavioral economics expert. Hi, how are you? Thank you for having you here.
Oh yeah, fantastic. Happy to be here.
How are you? How do you feel? It's actually, hint, it's our 20th anniversary here at GPeC Summit. How do you feel?
Amazing. Such an honor to have been able to be here, and I'm glad to be able to be with all the other speakers and amazing attendance. It's been a really wonderful event.
So your team was actually the truth about pricing, using brain science to sell more, right? A great topic, actually. Pricing can feel like a dark art for many businesses, and for those who are watching and who couldn't attend for your session today, can you give us a quick summary of your talk?
Yeah, so the main piece really is that whether or not people buy what you're selling doesn't typically come down to the price. It feels like that matters more than anything, but really the psychology and understanding human behavior, everything that comes before the price is much more indicative of whether or not someone is going to buy than that price itself. So when you can be thoughtful to that human behavior, you can price in a way and set up the whole experience that makes it to where it's a natural thing to buy in on whatever you're selling versus having to focus so much on that price.
Many companies actually spend hours debating the perfect price. First of all, does it exist, the perfect price?
No, definitely does not. So good news, I guess, there. Some general rules would be, if you want to be associated with being a discount, a great deal, something like that, round down your price. So end in a 9 or a 7 or a 5, and it really doesn't matter which one you use. If you want to be more in that luxury space, or you want to be seen as a more quality type of a brand, having a round number or just rounding up a little bit can make it to where it feels more exact in that way. That's a simple rule to use, but really you can sell anything for kind of whatever you would want to. You just know maybe less people will buy, but if that's the strategy, then that's okay, right? You want to know what you're trying to do with whom and move from there.
What's the common mistakes actually you see businesses make when presenting options to customers, and why does it backfire?
Well, one would be having too many options. So it's easy to feel like, because people say they want all the options, everything to be able to choose from, but really we have a paradox of choice problem. It's very overwhelming.
Yes.
And then they choose.
It's a real problem. Too many options are a problem.
Yeah, you choose to do nothing, right?
Yeah.
And say, oh, I'll get back to that later, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
later never comes,
Exactly.
right? And they go to someone else who was an easier buying experience. So just by streamlining the choices, understanding we're a herding species. So if you could say, hey, most people get this, like you can choose any of these, but most people would do this. Most people like you do this. Makes it so much easier to make a choice. So streamline those choices and make it a little bit easier for people to buy.
Your session actually emphasizes that psychology drives pricing success. Could you explain one of the brain sciences principles that most businesses overlook but can instantly impact how well products are selling?
Yeah. So one of them is known as framing, in that how you say something matters more than what you say. Example there being, if you were looking to order a yogurt parfait and there's two identical almost listed on a menu. One is listed as being 90% fat-free. The other is 10% fat. Which one do you want to get?
It's obviously.
Yeah, almost everybody says 90% fat-free, right?
Yeah.
Logically, we know they're the same, but it feels completely different. So if people aren't buying what you're selling, it might not be that the product is wrong or the price is wrong. You might just be talking about it in 10% fat terms. And if you reframe it to be that 90% fat-free, whatever that means for your industry, can make all the difference.
Oh my God, that's actually mind-blowing.
Good.
For small online stores or entrepreneurs watching today, what's one simple trick they could make to their pricing strategy without changing costs or products that would help them to sell more?
It would be to look at, one would be using an anchor. So a high anchor of something. So if you want to sell something that costs $20 and it's the most expensive thing you have available, it's really hard for people to buy that. If you have something at the top of the page that's $50 and then something that's pretty similar to it just below that's 20, and of course, adjusting for your currency, right? But on there that it's just a little bit less, but it feels like it's a much easier buy in that way, is one thing that you can do to have a high anchor that shows up first, makes it easier. You can also do something in a form of bundling, or you could do a limit on something. So if you say limit 10 on this, if you were doing a discount or something, people will buy more than if there was no limit at all, which feels weird, but that's how our brains work.
what about the prices with 4.99 cents or something like this? Is this psychological strategy?
Yeah, and it's right for the right business. So this is the same, if you want to round down, that's known as left digit bias is what it is. It feels different for us. So if you do want to be associated with being a deal or a discount, rounding down like that makes a huge difference. If you are looking to be a quality type of a brand, like Louis Vuitton wouldn't sell bags at a 99
yeah.
cents, right? That feels weird.
Right.
And you would question it as a consumer for them, right? Whereas if it was $4,010, which feels kind of weird to go up,
Yeah.
or 4,001 cent, it feels more normal to be a little bit up for them because of the type
Yeah,
of brand
yeah.
they are. So just know which avenue you want to be in. Are you value or quality? Not both. And then you can choose your strategy.
Exactly. It's about quality too here.
Right.
What about the consumer behavior? Are they looking for quality or are they looking for price?
Both.
Both.
Right. And any brand, though, if you make it about the price, it's a race to the bottom. Right. And so you might want to do that and look at some discounts. Value brands have amazing strategies and work really well. You look at things like Temu and others that are just.
Oh my God.
And
they're like almost free.
Right. And people are attracted to buying from those.
Yeah.
But those same people wouldn't probably be buying a Louis Vuitton bag, not to use that as the only example, buy from Cartier or whatever else, right? And so in that way, maybe they do and they like a discount, but they're looking for different things. And so knowing what your ideal customer cares about and what you want to stand for as a brand. Similarly, if Temu sold something for $10,000, it would be really weird.
Yeah, yeah.
And people would not trust them anymore because of
Yeah.
what they built their brand on. So as long as you stick to whatever your strategy is, it can work for you.
Finally, if you had to give one guiding principle for anyone struggling with pricing in 2026, because we are going to talk about next year too, something they could apply across all products or services, what would that be?
Well, I have a podcast called The Brainy Business. We end every episode with be thoughtful. And so I think that guiding principle of being more thoughtful, knowing that your own brain is running on habit and predictability and the status quo and how you're setting your prices, what you think people are going to want. If you challenge yourself to stop and say, but why do we do it this way? What if we did something different? If you've always rounded down your prices, what if you didn't do that? What might happen if you were to double your price? Would it actually be a terrible thing, or would you attract the people that you're really looking to sell to? Or if you cut it in half, right? Anything you might want to try, you have an opportunity. And if you see, like, why are people buying this? Why aren't they buying that? Why did I click on that email and why was I sure that was spam?
Right, right. Because many of them come to us.
And you know immediately. But how many emails are you sending that other people think are spam, but you
Yeah,
don't
of
feel
course.
like it because of when you wrote it? It felt very different. So just taking that time to pause and be more thoughtful can be a great place to start.
Do you think AI will help us to put the price on our products or services?
I think it could if used in the right way and always, verify, do some testing, right? You can try some things. It can be a good opportunity to look into some options. But I would say do a lot of testing and don't just blindly trust what comes from AI, at least not yet or ever, probably.
And the last questions. Do you think the human psychology element is at risk of being ignored, or does it remain the key to truly effective pricing when it comes to technologies, when it comes to AI, when it comes to dynamic pricing?
Yeah. At the end of the day, while we do have more non-human people inside of organizations, maybe as colleagues or coworkers, for now, the people that are buying from you are still humans, and their brains are not going to change as quickly as we might like to think that they would. And so that human element should always matter and be central to really powerful brands, in my opinion.
Very nice said. Perfect said, actually. Thank you so much, Melina, and can't wait to see you here maybe next year with so many subjects to discuss.
Oh, perfect. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Noi rămânem în continuare aici pentru că urmează în continuare invitați surpriză, invitați special cu informații valoroase pe care abia așteptăm să le share-im cu voi.